Hi and good afternoon, everyone. May I get a sound test, please? And of course, welcome to our second day of our case studies course. Yesterday, if you remember, guys, we went through a case with DKNG DraftKings and continued with the second case, which we're going to finish today. That's, of course, one of the most interesting IPOs of late. That's Nikola Motors. And we have another case coming up after the break. And tomorrow, 2 more cases. And that's going to be pretty much it. Actually, we have 3 more cases, but I don't think we're going to have the time or enough time frame to go through the remaining 3 tomorrow. Maybe we will. It depends on how fast we will go. Okay, guys, let me open the recordings or start the recordings. The recording or the recordings. The name of the recording will be Case Studies September 3. And of course, everybody here in the room knows Clifton emails by now, and you can request, of course, the recordings if you need them tomorrow morning from Clifton. Thanks a lot, Clifton. So I'm sure everybody has your email by now. No way people don't have it. No way. Anyway, let's start. Let's first of all remind everybody what was the deal. Why are we looking at NKLA, and why is NKLA interesting? First of all, we looked at, and I will go kind of fast this time. We're looking at the ETF picture for NKLA. You can see that no ETF is holding NKLA shares. That's actually something that's bad. Very few ETFs are holding shares of Nikola. So Nikola cannot depend on those institutional traders, which are, of course, long-time investors, pretty much for stability in the stock. Then we're looking at this daily chart since Nikola was IPO'd June 4th this year, and we see basically a disaster. 3 days after the IPO, the stock trades at 94. 2 months later, it's down 2/3 to 28, and then it starts to move sideways until the news, or at one point 2 weeks ago, that was actually great news, where GM takes 12% stake and enters some form of partnership with Nikola. Since then, nothing positive. This is pretty much the last part of the end of the positive news for Nikola. And I remember vividly that trading day, because I was thinking, wow, really thinking that GM entering the partnership with Nikola, it's actually a great thing for Nikola. That's what a startup company needs, is the backbone of GM, the dealerships, the connections, blah blah blah, everything. And basically that was the last time we've seen Nikola pretty much move higher. Then a day later, okay, this was of course the analysis of that particular trading day, and the signal that something's wrong came into the close, where the stock basically moved down more than 10% from the highs and closed way off the highs of the day. So that was a reminder that a stock that's up 50% or 60% in one day can can deliver big moves percentage-wise. And what happened next was even more aggressive, where the stock opens down and trades down September 9. That's one day after the GM 12% stake in the company, and trades lower, basically sharply lower for the first 30 minutes, losing another 8%. So now the stock is down 20% from September 8 highs. Anyway, let's move on. And the idea here was to analyze the intraday price action after the move in the first 30 minutes. And this is where we picked up. We are going to pick up from slide number 14. Okay, and so slide number 14, you remember this super interesting pattern where the stock basically breaks under the lows of the day at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and now the trend is clear, the round number breakdown is clear, the triangle breakdown is clear, everything is like clear from this point on, meaning 3 hours, 3.5 hours into the trading day, and basically the stock which started at 50 loses another 10%, $5 down to the 45 and actually below. So let's see what's going to happen next. The idea here is again, to try and analyze the price action between 10 and 1 p.m. And let's see what you have to say, guys, about the pinpoints here on the questions and analysis. Nicola is going through another short momentum short day. The trend is clear. Both lows, breakdowns, trades are winners. So breakdown trade, the first breakdown trade was 46.65, traded lower to the 45. Seen some support at 45, but basically, once the stock moves higher, it's being hit by another slow sell-off mood until it breaks under 45. You can see this clear pressure or triangle breakdown, and basically the two breakdowns under the lows, if we're looking at the 1 p.m. Are in the money. Both, of course, the 46.65 and the 45. So if we answer C here on question analysis number 5, the stock shows a very strong downtrend. Sorry, B. The trend is clear, lower, of course. Both the lows breakdown trades are winners. And C, the stock shows a very strong downtrend, increased volume, and should be treated as a momentum trade, ignoring yesterday gap up on the positive news. So by now, everybody that's still thinking, wow, GM took a piece of this stock, and what's going on here? Is it profit taking? Why is suddenly the stock moving down 20% in less than 2 days? There's lots of noise in the background. Okay, and the background is filled with aggressive investors slash short sellers that have, I'm guessing, short positions in Nikola, and they start flooding the markets with all kind of accusations against the company. Now, if you want to know how many accusations are there against the company, all you need to do is go to Yahoo Finance, type in Nikola Motors, NKLA, and you'll see, if you go to the main actually, let me show it to you, because that's staggering. Okay, that will explain the move lower to anybody. Okay, let's go to Yahoo Finance. Where is Yahoo Finance here? This is how I'm looking, and I'm trying to understand the background. I just go to a very simple source, Yahoo Finance, and if I'm going and scrolling down Yahoo Finance, um, there's like a ton of negative news on Yahoo Finance, and you can find those type of news in other websites. But here it's the access is very clear. So it starts with Nicola shares fall on amid Trevor Milton allegations, and that's today. And I can go in, go back here. And you can see here, Bernstein Liebhardt remind investors for the deadline to file the lead plaintiff motion of securities class action against Nikola. And this is one of many law firms that are suing Nikola on behalf of their shareholders. So here's the list. Class action update for Nikola. Nikola shareholders alert by former Louisiana Attorney General. Shareholders alert Pomerantz. Shareholders alert whatever. It's like the list here, it's endless. I mean, if you are an investor looking for data on Nikola, all you read is or hear is this horrible type of news where they accuse the former leader of the company of being a crook, a criminal, and basically defrauding. I mean, the language here is kind of brutal. Some guys want to see him go straight to jail, no less. And I mean, I'm not going to go forward with this much more just to save us time. But basically, all you need to do is just scroll a couple of minutes in Yahoo Finance, and boys, no, the Nicola movies move from the 50 or 60 highs after the GM buyout is unbelievable. Now, what happened? Why was GM not aware of all of that ahead of them buying the the position or the partnership with Nikola? Beats me. I don't know, but that's their business anyway. So going back to our question and analysis, it's clear that by now all the hell unravels, and basically what's important to understand that if we expect a stock to be a momentum stock, okay, that means that we expect it to close at the lows of the day, and we expect it to continue lower the day after. So at least one day, okay, after the week close to continue lower for another one day. This is basically pretty much the outcome or what we're looking for when we are talking about Nikola as the momentum trade. And we'll see if it happens actually. But basically, the analysis, if you look now at the chart, okay, if you look at the chart, and you'll see the very good volume versus the average in the morning session, okay? The big leg down, meaning $5, and it's not over yet at 1 p.m. And basically everything points to more downside. Again, if you look at the chart here, the stock is pretty much all day other than 4 minutes under the VWAP. That means great weakness. The trend is lower. It's down 10% from the highs, and more coming into the close probably with also good volumes. I didn't think we went to this slide yesterday. So again, now we're looking at 2:30 in the afternoon. The 45 breakdown leads it to the 44 breakdown, which leads it to a leg down from 44 to 43 and a reversal into the last 1.5 hour of trading. But the trend overall is doesn't get weaker than this one. I mean, the stock breaks one support level after another, and delivers actually good moves into the close. Now at this point, 2:30 in the afternoon, it's back under the 44 level. Now again, if you are in this trade and you traded it short at 46.65, the breakdown, or at 45 or any other position in between, of course you're thinking, or you must be thinking now, keep it into the close or taking profits and stepping out. That should be one of two options. And again, if you decide, okay, if you decide that this is a momentum stock and you're thinking now opting out or staying with the trade into the close, the second option is should be your favorite one, because again, if it is a momentum stock, many of those close at the lows of the day, enjoying very good volume and in this case, a big selling wave. So right now, if you look at the chart, you have no option. It's pretty much like NEO today. Okay, if you look, guys, at the NEO trade today, let me actually show you an example. Let's look at NEO. That's NEO today. How do we know that it is a momentum stock? We look at the daily chart. Now, is it the best, volume bar for NEO? Not really, but it's better than the previous month. There's such a good volume bar in NEO since the beginning of September. Then you look at the pattern and the range bar. The range bar is also very good, more than $1.50. And if you look at the pattern, this breakout level, and if you are in this trade, and I am in this trade, the idea for me to be in this trade started basically when it moved over 20. So again, the idea was based on the daily chart and not on a momentum day, because it's not like a big momentum day still. If you look at the daily chart, or you trust the intraday chart, you can reach a decision that at the close you want to be in the trade. You want to be in the trade at the close of the trading day, and not at all costs, of course. If the stock closes under 2050 or 2040, I'm probably closing the trade. But this one closed at 2080, also traveled over 21 already. So the big sellers at 21 may appear tomorrow again. I doubt if we'll have a problem moving over 21 tomorrow morning. I think we can do it, and we will do it very easy tomorrow in the morning. So it has a very good chance, pending unexpected news, to continue higher again. Why? Both a momentum day and both the pattern on the daily chart. Now, in the Nikola case, we cannot say that we have a pattern on the daily chart. Sorry. We don't have a pattern on the daily chart, a breakout or breakdown pattern that's not applicable, but we do have, hold on a second, guys, the Nikola will appear in the room. The Nikola slides will appear in the room in a split second. Okay, here they are. So now the daily is not really important here. It's all about the intraday. And it's actually, not a problem for us, because basically most of the decisions that we're going to take are going to be based on the intraday chart, not on the daily chart. Sometimes the daily chart can actually move us away from our objective is to find the best intraday chart, not the best trade on the daily chart, the best intraday trade. And sometimes they're not the same. In this case, of course, you have nothing else to do but work the intraday chart, and those who worked that particular day, the intraday chart made I don't want to say great moves, but with amazing volume and 2 trades of $1. I mean, this is already a great trading day. Even one trade of $1, and this one moves fast. You know, it's not like it's putting you to sleep. This one is moving really, really fast, and fast and furious, and in one direction. So there's no mistake here. Nobody is buying NKLA. Those who buy NKLA are losing their positions very, very fast. Okay. So now we're gonna analyze the chart at 2:30, and what is the plan? Okay, what is the plan? Again, the plan is one of two things: if you have a position, and if you don't have a position. If you don't have a position at 2:30 p.m. and the stock is down more than 8%, or in this case, $7, 14%. My mistake. The stock is down 14%. You're not in the stock. You're not in a position. I will say, okay, tough luck. Look for other trades or come back tomorrow. But if you are in a position, you have one goal in your mind, and stay through the end of the trading day as much as you can. Take a partial, maybe 2 partials, but sit in this trade with half of a quarter of your position into the end and swing it, assuming it closes at the lows of the day. What are the lows of the day? You know what are the lows of the day at 2:30, $43. So if it closes within within proximity to 43, that's what you're looking for. And if it closes at 42, even better. Now, is anybody looking for a new entry at 43 or at 44, or adding positions along the way? You have to be very aggressive to do it, okay? Because if you then short it at 46.65 and you didn't short it at 45, now you want to short it at 44. It's still going for $1, but in this case, it looks like a late entry. You know, if your first entry is after 1 p.m. and the stock is already down more than 12%, and now you're getting into your first trade, maybe you have a problem. Okay, maybe you have a problem. In this case, it's clear that even the 44 entry short is a successful partial, at least, if not more than that. Guys, if anybody has a question, feel free to interfere. But again, this is a straightforward chart that we see many, many times, and it's not open to interpretations, meaning we buy it because it's extended. Don't look to buy it because it's extended. Look to short it on a leg up. So, for example, if you're looking at the leg up from 43 to over 44, you can short again 44. Now you have, in this case, let's say 40 or 50 cent stop loss on the leg up over 44. But try to stay with the trend. And if the trend is so clear, this chart is absolutely not something that you want to buy. So far, 2 p.m. in the afternoon, nobody's buying. I mean, not a lot of people are buying. So I'm going to go to the pinpoints here on this question and analysis, analyzing the chart at 2:30 p.m. What is the next plan for NKLA? First of all, short. In this case, any move higher at the round number. That was a good example where the move higher to the 44 should have been shorted. Again, assuming a good risk reward and a tradable entry. Other than that, the volumes, of course, and spreads not a problem. B is it's still early on the day, and algos can and sometimes are working all day into the close. So another leg down into the close is possible. Remember, we already defined this stock as a momentum stock. It's a momentum stock. We are looking for the close to be very weak and at the lows of the day. As long as the VWAP is not compromised, staying short, the VWAP is not even close. So the VWAP is not going to be compromised anytime soon by NKLA. The stock is going through a momentum day. We already said it a couple of times. The move higher from 43 suggests a long trade into the close. If anybody thinks that, raise a flag. And the 44 and 43 short ideas are the next potential trades. That's pretty much straightforward. So what is the reasonable answer here? It's clear that G is a reasonable answer here. I mean, E is, of course, not an option. We already said that we're not going to buy NKLA, not in this trend. The trend is too strong or in this case, too weak to buy anything. The trend is sharply lower. And indeed, guess what? Guess what happens into the close? The inevitable. Nobody's buying the stock. There's actually some pickup in volume into the last trading hour, and the stock trades as low as 42. That means 16% on top of the 10% that the stock lost the previous day into the close. So now the stock is down from 60, basically down to 42 in one trading day plus 1 hour. And this is considered a very weak close. And anybody that's in this trade from 46, 65, from 45, from 44, I don't want to say from 43. 43 is a very late entry, but from 44 and lower and higher is going to swing this trade. So it's going to be a lot of selling pressure also into the close, into the open the following day. So what is now the plan into the close? What is the next step? Okay. Most of the traders will swing a quarter, maybe half of your position. Depends how aggressive you are and how big you are in the money. If you are able to hold on to half of your position, okay, and you have $2 or $3 in the money, you can swing it no problem, assuming you comply with the regulations of short trading, meaning no more than 20% of your account. Okay, so keep in mind, you don't want to do it. But other than that, if you are a beginning trader, a beginner, and you want to swing a quarter of your position or 1/10 or whatever, if you're comfortable with, nobody cares. Okay, you can swing it because it's a swingable trade. Why is it swingable trade? Because it closed at the lows of the day. You are deep in the money after 1 or 2 partials already. So the chances of this trade reversing higher and making you pay for it is very, very slim. It can happen though. So there's no protection against it overnight. So again, all those quotes here on the question and analysis pretty much lead you to conclude that this is a shortable, swingable, tradable momentum trading day for NKLA. Yeah, a swing trade will be a trade that a position of it or a small part of the position, it can be a quarter, it can be a 1/10, it can be half of the position, depends on the strategy of the swing trader goes for more than one day with the intent of holding the position as long as it is making money. I mean, the idea here is not to sell it after 1 day. Sometimes it's to sell it after 10 days. Maybe be in the position for 20 days. Now let's look at Armando. By mistake, I didn't press the sell button. I pressed buy and doubled the order of PO10 in the last 2 minutes. I didn't have other option to swing. You are long and you doubled your position in the last minute. Why didn't you sell it immediately? Now, having said that, Armando, look at this 7. It says at 3:55. This is why I say at one point I was saying 3:58. Then I changed it to 3:55. Why 3:55? Because if you do your decisions at 3:55, you still have 5 minutes to fix the problem. If you glitch into the 3:59 area and you make a mistake, that's it. You're not going to be able to fix it. So guys, start making your adjustments into the close, not at 3:59. Okay? Do it at 3:50. Okay, this is I'm going to change it from now on to 3:50. Okay, 5 minutes is plenty. Okay, all you need is a couple of seconds to adjust a mistake. But if you do it at 3:59, and sometimes you start at 3:59 and 30 seconds, you will make mistakes. Obviously, those mistakes you're going to pay for them, and then you're going to remember them forever. So I do hope that Armando is not going to pay for his mistake, but there's always something that is going to hurt you. And in this case, it's what can hurt you more than mistakes. Okay, this is something that needed to be fixed immediately. Sometimes, it's everybody here is human. Everybody makes so many mistakes, so many. I mean, this is prone to mistakes job where you can make small mistakes, big mistakes, but you will make over your trading career mistakes. Nobody is immune from them, really. There is of course there are ways to move around and have the platform ask you, are you sure, yes or no, after each or whenever you trade. You can do it. You can ask the platform or add to the platform this type of query, but it's time consuming. So if you want to enter fast on the trade, it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to enter the trade? And then you have to press again, yes or no. And by the time you press again, yes or no, the trade is moving already. So there's no there's no holy grail here. But again, I suggest those who are trading or closing positions that are making money into the last 10 minutes, start organizing things and never enter a trade in the last 15 minutes. Sometimes guys are posting trades at 3:45 in the afternoon. 3:45 in the afternoon, you're not going to take any new trades. At 3:45, you are adjusting your positions, thinking about the close, maybe adjusting stop losses, whatever, or basically closing positions that you don't need into the close, or you're not going to swing. So don't do it or don't leave it to the last a couple of minutes, and then you are prone to make mistakes. You're in a hurry, and bad stuff happens. Okay, so this is pretty much the summary for NKLA. If we're looking at NKLA after the GM deal, looks horrible. Now let's analyze NKLA summary. It's a preferred trade one at this point. NKLA is a preferred trade for us. Why? We watch it every day. It's a big mover every day. Although I stopped trading it today because I didn't see any more, let's call it reason to trade it, being that it barely moved 20 cents today or 30 cents. At the end, it delivered a good move to the upside in the close as much as I've seen it. But no, I'm going to watch it every day, okay? I'm still watching it every day. Maybe by the time it's going to be less than 10 bucks, then we'll stop trading it, okay? By the time it reaches 10 bucks, there won't be enough range and volatility to be able to trade the stock successfully. Okay, but I'm just hoping it's not going to go back to 10 bucks or dive to 10 bucks or below, and hopefully it's going to reverse. The sector is on fire. Now, what are the benchmarks for NKLA? Is there a benchmark for NKLA? At this point, the way the stock is trading, the way the sector is shaping up, there is no benchmark for NKLA. Now, even the twin stocks, Tesla, SHLL, Workhorse, NEO, and some others, I don't think you want to, or you can deduct anything from NEO to Tesla, and at this point, NKLA is a different type of stock. Okay, it's not it's totally detached from the great price action of the leadership in the electric vehicle sector, and it's actually moving totally in a different direction. You're going to see the charts in a minute. So it has no ETF correlation. So you cannot trust it to move higher when the market is moving higher, or any other reference ETF. In terms of the volume bars, there's a huge pickup in volume since the GM deal, almost 100% more, 43 million versus 28. Shares outstanding are 378 millions, but only the float is only 153. I don't know if this data is 100% true, but this is how it comes out on Yahoo Finance. There's no data regarding institutions that are holding shares. I will have to say that there are very, very little institutions holding shares of Nikola. And I'm sure that some insiders are holding, but the data is not available as much as the short float. So this is a big question mark. Maybe in 3 to 6 months, Reuters are going to be able to gather this data, and Yahoo Finance is getting the data from Reuters pretty much, and this is how we get it. Again, it's free data from the Yahoo Finance, finance.yahoo.com website. Now, suitable for day trading scale, I think 8 out of 10 is kind of extended. Maybe it's 7 or 6 out of 10 because now the trading ranges or the daily range is not really suitable anymore for good moves. It's still, volume is still great. Spreads are a couple of cents. You can enter with the big positions almost with no slippage, but the daily range is now, I don't know, $1.50 versus $7 or $8 just 3 weeks ago. So from that point of view, it's not great for day trading purposes. Still, I'm watching it. I like it until today, at least. So that's the daily for Nikola until September 8th, when GM takes the partnership. Then we move to the reversal day. You can see a huge, still big volume red bar down to the 40 area or 41 area pretty much. Guys, remember what he said about momentum and potential and sometimes timing? Those who stayed in the basically in the NKLA trade, and the stock closed at 40 You can see the close at 42. That was September 9th. Closes at 42. Let's say only $3 in the money. On 20 shares, sorry, on 200 shares. $3 in the money is $600 on 200 shares. And now it gaps down. You can see the gap down another $3. So now you have $6 in the money on 200 shares. That's already $1,200 on 200 shares. That's a huge winner for the with regard to the position, and this is the potential of those momentum moves. Okay, bottom line, this is what you want to see from Nikola. Okay, close at the lows of the day after a strong move, gap down or move down or trade down the next morning, and now you are deep in the money and you have the option to add, to take another partial, to just stay in the trade and look for another day to the downside. So depends on your strategy. You decide, but the first day did the job. Okay, so this is why the first day analysis, analyzing the first day the right thing, and analyzing good analysis will lead to better decision making. Better decision making is planning, and if you plan a trade and it works, now even a small position can deliver a big profit. And the idea here is to take a small position, stay in the trade a couple of hours, 3 or 4 hours, stay the night, and then the next morning, now you double your profits. Again, you won't be able to stay in the trade 10 minutes and make money. Maybe in Tesla. Again, it's not happening. It's not going to happen. You need to be in the trade for a long period of time, and there is no problem being in a trade for a long period of time if it goes in your favor. And this is actually the right example to show you how a momentum stock delivers and closes at the lows of the day. And again, why it closes at the lows of the day? It's a weak stock. It's a weak stock that trades with a lot of volume. Therefore, it's a potential momentum stock. Then you look at the daily range. Indeed, it's bigger than average. Yeah, it is a momentum stock. It closes at the lows of the day. In the background, you already know what's happening. Lawsuits, aggressive investors yelling out that the founder of the company is a crook and he needs to go to jail. And all hell turns loose in the background, and you're not aware of it. I'm not aware of it when we trade, because we're not going to just stop trading and looking for news. We're going to look for news on Yahoo Finance. That's not going to happen. It's beside the point. The trade is working in your favor. So you don't need to browse for news. The chart is pretty much telling you what are the news. And the news are not very good. So if you join on the short side, that's a good and reasonable play for NKLA. So again, bottom line, the stock is down from the highs 55 to under 40. That's let's call it $18 in 2 trading days. $18 in 2 trading days. That's a major. What do you mean, Armando, when you say big did that to me today? Good news, I was in them and trade moved down. I don't understand the concept here. Big actually was a gap up today, wasn't it? And then it started moving lower, but I don't think it had to do with any news. I think it was a gap up is good news. But there was let's call it profit taking. Okay, so sometimes after a gap up, some sellers will say, okay, the stock is gapped up 2-3%. we're going to start taking profits off the table, and at the end, the stock takes a dive. Okay, it can happen, but this is not the case here with an NKLA, where NKLA is going through a sell-off day all day. It's very weak, closes at the lows of the day, and then delivers the gap down the day after, which is, if you are a swing trader, that's what you want to see. You want to see money in the account. As soon as the market opens at 9:30 and you are being paid, that's an amazing feeling. That's an amazing feeling to be paid for sitting in a position overnight, because all you did is nothing. You didn't really work for it. The market is paying you for just not interfering. Anyway, that's a good example why you need to plan. Okay, and if the plan works out and you decide you want to swing a quarter of your position, and this is, I think, a very good quantity to swing, a quarter. Okay, later when you feel confident, maybe you'll swing more, but those who want to start small, and I don't suggest you start with 1/10. Okay, that's ridiculous, but trading or staying in a position with a quarter of your original entry after one or two partials, and you feel comfortable and you're a couple of bucks in the money or even $1 in the money, again, depends. If you're trading Tesla, you're not going to be swinging anything with less than 5 to 10 bucks in the money. But if you are swinging NKLA, $2 in the money are going to be great. And if you're swinging NEO, $1 in the money is going to be enough. Assuming, bad stuff won't happen overnight. And then under this assumption, you swing a quarter, that's some risk that you have to take and go to bed with. Should not be a big problem, though. Also, guys, you need to remember that there are swing rules. It doesn't matter if your account is a CFD or a regular account. There are strict swing rules for the US markets, and you need to oblige and trade alongside those rules. Now, this is how the stock looked yesterday, or the day before yesterday. Traded under 20. I think today traded under 1750 at one point. And if you read this is again from Barron's. Barron's is a very important news source for the U.S. markets. The publication and of course the website. Many Americans over the weekend, many U.S. investors, maybe also global investors, go to Barron's for trade ideas, for real insights on the market, for stock advice, for many great pieces that are being written here by serious analysts and journalists. And then when you start reading about Nikola, you get a concept that things are really going to go from bad to worse. And just reading this piece from Nathan Anderson, it says here he's an activity investor and the founder of Hindenburg Research, which has made headlines for its short call on Nikola Motors. Since Hindenburg 60-page report on Nikola, detailing a list of objections he has on the electric truck startup, was released on September 10. The company shares have declined about 50%. Okay, so this guy is thinking, let's throw the guy that pretty much led the company into jail. He thinks that's the right place for him. So, and the market, reacts in his favor. Now, is it true that Nikola is a crooked company. We'll see in, I think, in a month or two. If the stock goes back to 50, everything is probably fine and dandy. And if you see the stock crawling under $5 towards the 1 or 2 area, it means that this guy is right and Nikola is gonna probably suffer a bankruptcy or whatever. I don't know, but we'll wait and see. Now let's take a look at the EV market. Hold on a second, guys. This is the EV market. Here you have 4 charts of Nikola, Workhorse, SHLL. I never remember the name of that company, Turquoise or whatever company, and Tesla. And the way the stock traded since the beginning of June. So 4 months back, you look 4 months back in Nikola, the stock is down 70%. The other competitors in the sector are up 300%, 400%, and 100%. So it's not only underperforming the market, it's way underperforming the other adversaries in the sector. And now think about how an investor must feel putting money to work in Nikola, losing 70%, while the same money could have been making 400% in Workhorse, 300 in SHLL, and going with Tesla, which is the less riskier trade here, only 100%. So the decision to stay in Nikola is obviously a terrible one. This is why, in retrospect, guys, you don't see investors or ETF investors, what sometimes are known as public investors in the stock. The reason is that they fled. Those who were in fled. No other ETF investor that has that has any guts at this point with so much publicity or negative publicity in the papers will start taking, has the guts to start trading long positions in Nikola, while the stock can still deliver another leg down or a big leg down. We've seen it happen many times before. Okay, guys, let's summarize the Nikola case. Good news that immediately turned into bad news. Our business is to take advantage of a move intraday, and that move intraday, when it's a momentum move, leads you to more continuation, meaning swinging a small position. And in this case, of course, swinging a small position would have led to big leg down. I mean, the stock had traded over 55 a couple of days ago, 10 days ago, 20 the day before yesterday. So if Friday it was at 20 after trading as high as 55 just 2 weeks ago. So that's an unfortunate turn of events for NKLA. Okay, guys, before we move to our next case, if anybody has a question regarding this case, go ahead and ask. If you want to ask later, no problem as well. You know my email, michael.tradenet.com. Recordings from Clifton. I will go straight, if there are no any questions, I will go straight to the second case today. No questions? Okay. Now, yesterday we started with analyzing for the first time ever, we're analyzing in this room a stock from the gaming sector. I don't think we analyzed the LVS or Las Vegas Sands in the past, and this is not Win Resorts or Las Vegas Sands I won't call them the gaming sector, it's more like gambling sector. And now we are looking at stocks that are making, headlines in our trading room and making headlines on Wall Street. And we had the fresh IPO DKNG that really brought them, into the U.S. Markets, the online gambling or online sports betting, which is pretty much the same. It's a practice that I don't think was legal a couple of years ago. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, I'm not really familiar with the rules and regulations, and of course, those vary from each of the 50 states in the U.S. regarding their gambling authorities and licenses and stuff like that. So this time, those who trade many years in the U.S. markets remember SGMS, but I don't think many people were focusing what is SGMS doing, and really nobody cared because we were used to trade SGMS maybe once every couple of years for a brief period of time. Always, always a troublesome mover. I don't remember ever having a good trade in SGMS or having it on my watch list or anything like that for any reason. Anyway, what is SGMS or scientific games? Those are the guys that are basically designing these online games, machines or gambling machines, lottery tickets, all type of digital gambling and let's call it entertainment on the web. So that's pretty much the business of scientific games. Okay, so very simple. Okay, so and if this is a booming now subsector in the U.S., thanks to the IPO in DKNG, investors are looking at it. And guess what? Maybe also there are some changes or will be some changes in regulation thanks to the coronavirus, where states are hungry for money. People are not going to gamble in their traditional casinos. People rather trade and not trade, gamble or play all kind of games from home. And here comes scientific games to the rescue, uh, assuming regulations are fine for every state. Anyway, so our business here is to analyze the daily and intraday price section of scientific games, SGMS, headed after the September 14 breakout on the daily chart. So again, the concept is, again, we're looking at the stock that's looking like NEO, okay, NEO. Let's not call it SGMS, let's call it NEO. The daily chart looks good. We're looking for the breakout on the daily chart. Okay, so that's the concept. This is exactly what we're doing today, guys, with NEO. Okay, what we're doing today with NEO is pretty much the same price action that you're going to see here with SGMS. Will it play the same? We'll see tomorrow, maybe the day after in NEO. But the concept, the technicalities, the strategy, the way of thinking is the same. Now let's get acquainted with SGMS. Okay, so what is SGMS? Is it an important stock for the US market? Way no. Okay, but ETFs allocate only 0.22% of their positions or portfolio to SGMS. However, for niche trading, and when we're talking about niche trading, we are talking about sports betting and iGaming, which is now the business or the big business for SGMS, there are 58 ETFs holding positions. Some of them, of course, are not based on the type of a stock, but how big, small caps, mid cap, and stuff like that. And they have 6.8 million shares of SGMS trading in ETF. If you want to make a comparison with Nikola, Nikola has 6 ETFs and less than 500,000 shares trading in ETFs. So there's a huge difference. Indeed, Nikola is an IPO from 4 months ago, but and SGMS trades more than, I don't know, 10 or 20 years in the US markets. But again, you'll see the comparison and you understand that the numbers are, good for a mid cap or a small cap, whatever the market recognizes SGMS to be. Okay, now we look at the monthly chart. And we try to understand what's going on. Why is the SGMS suddenly so interesting to us? Now we look at the chart and it's quite staggering. The stock trades as low as $4 in 2016, and 2 years later, it's at $62. And two years later is at 376. So the volatility here on SGMS is staggering. The stock goes through multiples very, very fast, moving from 450 to 62. It's staggering. That's happening in 2 years. And then the leg down from 62 back to the 4 area is also unbelievable. Okay, but it happens this year actually. And now you can see the monthly chart where it's up April, May, June, July, and August, 5 months in a row. Let's ignore the June, July, August, September, yeah. So let's ignore the June doji on the daily chart. But you can see that the triangle higher lows on the daily chart, on the monthly chart. So on the monthly chart, you can easily see the higher lows pattern and then the breakout over 20 to 30, and then the breakout coming probably over 30 as well. If we're looking at the daily chart, take a look at this. The stock breaks down or delivers a leg down immediately, or let's say as soon as the coronavirus hits, the casinos are closed in the US and SGMS loses 90% of its value. So the reaction, the Pavlovian reaction of investors in SGMS is horrible. You can see that the stock is down 88% in a month and a half. Why? The casinos are closing down. Nobody's thinking about online betting or online gaming or anything like that. And the licensing is not on the table for SGMS. Then things start to pick up. So it bottoms out with the market mid-March. And now in September, it's actually a very, very strong stock, up 10 folds from the lows or 8 folds from the lows. And look at the trend. I mean, very good support levels, not a big mover. I mean, it's a consistent mover, but not a big mover. So it's where it's, I would call it away from the eye. It's like a hidden gem that nobody knows exactly what this company is doing. And those who are betting on the recovery of the gaming sector are basically going to one of two stocks most of the time, maybe 3. They're going to Wynn Resorts, they're going to Las Vegas Sands and they're going maybe to MGM, but nobody's going, and you can see the volumes here. Nobody's going to trade SGMS. Okay, those investors or those who are looking for the reversal higher in the gaming industry are thinking about the casinos where the players or the customers are going to come back. And remember, we've seen those who are in the room for the past 6 months. Remember how many times LVS and Win jumped on news that Nevada is going to reopen the casinos. Now the casinos are open. A couple of months later, the casinos are open, and LVS and actually, let's take a look. That's really, really interesting to see. Let's take a look at LVS. And actually, first, let's take a look at Win. That's the leading sector probably in the gaming sector. Look at Win. It is actually at the lows of the range. Okay, Win is at the lows of the range. Now the casinos, as much as I know, are open. But look at the enthusiasm. Macau is already open for months, but either the numbers in Macau are disappointing, or something's going on, or just investors are now switching maybe to other places or other gaming venues. And take a look at LVS. Also, it's like the business is not really picking up, not at the lows of the year, but not far away from. Let's take a look at MGM. Maybe there are more companies. Actually, this MGM is better, looks better on the daily chart. None of them is, though, at the highs of the year. So remember, we talked yesterday about how disruptive DKNG, DraftKings, can be to the gambling slash gaming slash iGaming industry in the US. Maybe the idea here is that SGMS wants to join the online revolution, and it's now a part of it. The way the stock trades, it's definitely a part of it. Now, what is the focus points for SGMS mid-September 2020? The stock trades at 5-month highs following momentum moves and up 800% from March lows. That's a nice number. Stock shows strong correlation with BETS ETF. We talked about this ETF yesterday. If you need me to show you the components again, I can do it, but trust me, there are 3 US components in this ETF. SGMS is one of them. And this is an ETF where almost 90% of its holdings are dedicated to online gaming. Most of the companies are from the UK, but SGMS and DraftKings are US components. And other stocks in the sector, PNN and DKNG, are also at the highs of the year. I think today we had leg downs in the trio. We had a leg down in PNN, as much as I've seen it. Also, DKNG was relatively weak. And I think SGMS was weak as well. It's not really important, but most of the time, I'm guessing now they will work together. You can see the very good correlation between SGMS and BETS. Okay, so now you have to ask yourself, if you're taking a stock like SGMS, you're buying it, can you use the S&P 500 as a benchmark for it? Meaning you're going to enter a trade in SGMS only when the SPY is moving higher. And if you're more sophisticated, you can use another benchmark instead of the SPY because it's a really niche type of market, in this case, bets, B-E-T-Z, okay? B-E-T-Z is a good representative of this sports and gaming ETF. Now let's analyze the daily chart, guys. This is the daily chart of SGMS. Down sharply ahead of the well, with the coronavirus outbreak in February and March, and up sharply immediately after. Okay, so that's pretty much the daily chart. It's clear that out of this daily chart, you're looking obviously for long trades and not for short trades, being that the stock is trading higher clearly for the past 5 months. So is SGMS a preferred long or short trading candidate? Basically, the daily says it's a long candidate. We went to this type of analysis, very, very simple before, but important to remember. If there is a trend on the daily chart, that's the trade that you're going to go up front and look for on the intraday chart. Unless you have a very good reason to believe that you can trade counter the trend on the daily. And in that case, you are a day trader, you can do whatever you feel with your money, and you just need you need to be looking for the right timing, meaning strong daily translates into pullback on the intraday chart, and the intraday chart is showing a pattern to the downside, and the pattern to the downside is to be trusted by your strategy or according to your strategy, and then you can go short even as a day trader, even if the daily chart, of course, is pointing higher. The smartest thing to do or better thing to do is wait for a pullback on the daily chart to buy a strong stock and not short a strong stock, which is basically pretty much you're doing if you're shorting SGMS. Now, for short-term trading, it can be a swing candidate as well. A day trader will be waiting for a clear signal. That's super important to remember always. We repeat it every time, but I think it's worth repeating again. Wait for a clear signal on the daily chart and on the intraday pattern. So a signal on the daily chart will lead you to an intraday pattern. If you don't have an intraday pattern, you can't trade, but a good signal will lead to an intraday pattern. Maybe in the first 30 minutes, maybe in the first 3 hours, maybe in the first 5 hours, but there will be eventually an intraday pattern to trade based on a signal on the daily chart. And if the signal on the daily chart is coinciding with the trend on the daily chart, then you have the perfect scenario where the signal is on a strong stock in a strong sector with a strong or clear intraday pattern, and then your chances of taking this trade are increasing, and as such, probably you will make more money. I will give you the example of 20 in NEO today, 100 in what was the Peloton today, the 100 trade in Peloton. And those are trades that are built on very, very strong daily charts. And on top of that, very, very strong intraday charts. So Peloton is at all-time highs, and you buy it at 100 and goes to 102. NEO is at all-time highs, you buy it, or approaching all-time highs, you buy it at 20, it goes to 21. Those are exactly the right examples, or the right examples that are the foundation for us as day traders to make the right trades. Okay, so I also took I don't know Tupperware short into the close. Okay, but that's a Me Too type of trade where, okay, I have nothing to do. I'm finding, or I found intraday technical pattern that basically coincides with nothing on the daily. It's 3 p.m. and I'm looking for 20 cents. That's not the case for NEO or It's not the same trade as Neo or the Peloton trade. Completely different type of trades. So a swing trader can consider buying the benchmark. So if there are, is there anybody here in this room that's only a swing trader? Anybody here that's only swing trading? It's not day trading, only swing trading for whatever reason. Nobody is only a swing trader. Everybody is more like a day trader and sometimes a swing trader. Yeah, I agree. I mean, most of us are day traders, if not 90%. But I was thinking maybe there are only guys. Some of the guys here are doing only swing trading or from time to time. Okay, so again, if you are only into swing trading, okay, if you are only into swing trading, swinging ETFs is much easier than swinging stocks. Okay, so just making a point that if you learn your ETF right, you don't need to swing Apple. You can swing the triple Qs. Okay, you don't need to swing AMD. You can swing the semiconductor sector. So it makes more sense to swing less aggressive or prone to gaps instruments versus individual stocks which sometimes go crazy and you have no control of them overnight. Now the online gaming stocks and that are on fire or others are SGMS, DKNG, and PEN. And the reason why I know they are on fire, that's because you guys mentioned them almost on a daily basis in our trading room. Almost on a daily basis, we have trades in PEN. Those who are in the trading room for more than a month know that the PEN name wasn't mentioned until a month or 6 weeks ago ever. I don't remember mentioning or seeing this symbol for, I don't know, many years. I don't want to say 5 years or 10 years or whatever, but something that we don't trade. Same goes for SGMS. But since DraftKings resurfaced or was IPO'd a couple of months ago, those stocks are, on fire alongside DraftKings. Okay. Let's take, it's now 5:25, guys. Let's take a 6-minute break. 6-minute break until 5:30. Sorry, 5 minutes. It's 5:24. Let's take a 6-minute break until 5:30. If you have a question for me, prepare it, and I will answer those at 5:30. And then at 5:30, we pick up some pace. We need to definitely close this case today. Okay, so let's take 6. Also, bring some coffee, and so you'll be awake. Okay, guys, I'm back again. If anybody has a question for me, that's the time. If not, I'm going to continue with our um, basic, simple, and profitable example for SGMS. So basically, I'm going back before we'll talk about why the stock was interesting and what happened. Let's go back to the daily chart. Okay, so if you analyze the daily chart in SGMS, you're basically thinking, where can you buy it? And you're already thinking if you're a trader or an investor, you're thinking first of where can you buy cheap, okay? And always the round numbers are the first and foremost. The most interesting places are places like 5. It is at 370. Where can you buy it? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. In this case, you can see that anybody that was in a hurry to buy the stock, probably a good entry was 10. Okay, if you look back at the chart, a good entry was 10. Then the stock moves from 10 to 20, pulls back to 15. Then it stays for almost 2 months at 15, goes to another leg up at 20, moves sideways, and now it's basically looking at this move over 20 to 50. But let's face it, if you're looking back on the chart, how many momentum trading days do you see in the stock? I hope everybody by now knows what the momentum trading day is. So look at the chart, starting with April, May, June, July, August. How many momentum trading days do you see on the chart? Armando says 1. Okay. I say I go with 1 as well. Anybody sees more than 1? Christopher says 2. Okay, I can buy 2. It's obviously clear that you really need to look deep into this chart to see a momentum trading day. Again, what is a momentum trading day? A big volume and big range bar. And starting with April, we see to the upside, we don't see even 1 momentum trading day to the upside. We see maybe 1 to the downside in the beginning of June. That's on the leg down. Let's face it, not very interesting. Okay, we're looking at the daily chart and it's not really interesting. So why would anybody, okay, again, yeah, sure. So, but why would anybody bother and trade SGMS? It's not on our watch list. It's not giving us any signal. It's not. Trading. I mean, look at the price action in August and September. August and September. Guess what? Actually, the volumes are dropping. There's basically nothing going on in August. So why would we look? Why are we looking at SGMS? Anybody has an idea? Why are we basically looking at SGMS? And the answer is we're not really looking at SGMS. SGMS is coming, yeah, but it's the sector is hot, but the stock is not hot. But something happens, okay? Suddenly it's in the because I remember that specific day. That's why we have this case. I remember that specific day, and that specific day was September 14. Suddenly, I start trading and I see, wow, SGMS up 45%. Okay, so what happened that particular trading day that the stock is up 45%, and now we trade it, and I try to trade it. Okay, but I didn't see it in the first minutes. I think I saw it after half an hour or so. Anyway, maybe more, maybe less. I don't remember exactly. Obviously, something great happened. So what happened on SGMS and why the stock jumped? Here is the story. Okay, McAndrew and Forbes has agreed to sell their 35% stake in Scientific Games to a group of institutional investors, including Caledonia, an experienced gambling industry investor, for $28 per share. And guess what? And this is now the big and most important piece of the puzzle. Scientific Games has said it will focus on digital gaming and sports betting opportunities. Again, this is not a casino stock. This is a stock, a company that is in the business for developing digital gaming and sports betting products or services or apps or icons or whatever, or games. Okay, so bottom line, suddenly having an investor that has the money, the knowledge, the know-how, and is focusing on exactly what the market is all about, meaning DraftKings. Okay, so basically this is a stock that now it's maybe going to compete with DraftKings, maybe it's going to complement DraftKings with their products. I don't know. Okay, and it's none of my business. I'm not an analyst of this sector. I'm an analyst of the chart of SGMS, and now I'm seeing on the top 20 of the TFS platform, the stock is up 45%, and it's straight to number one, or I think it was number one or number two on that given day. And I'm thinking, wow, volume is, look at the volume bars, guys, at the bottom, versus the previous day, the volume is up 1,000%. So not only that the stock is up 45%, which is staggering, on top of that, it's up huge on the volume bars. So now the stock trades between the open after closing at 1886. Now the stock is up 45%, opens at 24.76, and trades in the first 30 minutes higher by $4. So that's staggering. I mean, these type of news are blockbuster news. Unimportant investors in the company are selling, and institutional investors, including Caledonia, which is a player, an experienced gambling industry investor, and they intend to focus on digital gaming. And now, voila, this is what investors in SGMS want to hear. And you know what? Because they're looking at DraftKings. Okay, everybody's now in the business is looking at DraftKings, and trying to mimic their success. And DraftKings is in the market like, I don't know, 4 months. Now, what do you think the food industry did 12 months ago or 14 months ago? I don't remember exactly when BYND was IPO'd. How big a blow was it to the food industry when an out of nowhere IPO comes and it's suddenly such a big success and a market disruptor? It's pretty much the same analogy. A stock that is new to the market and it's now turning the market around. So you can bet that many food developers or food manufacturers and developers are trying now to mimic the BYND products. I'm sure that there are dozens of companies working right now at the same products, trying to make them cheaper and better in order to compete with Beyond Meat and eat into their market share. So this is pretty much the business with Scientific Games. Okay, so this is why the stock gapped up. So Again, when the stock is gapping up 40%, okay, when the stock is gapping up 40%, you don't need to ask yourself what happened here. Okay, obviously, amazing things happen. It could have been a buyout. It could have been maybe amazing earnings. Amazing things happen when it's pretty much the number that NKLA moved higher when GM announced that it's investing and taking a partnership in the stock. So in this case, it's a different type of partnership, but the result is pretty much the same. So the market loves it. So now we analyze the price action in the first 30 minutes. Which is the better entry? Take a look at the chart, guys. Which is the better entry in the first 30 minutes? Assuming you can take the trade. And I didn't take the trade in the first 30 minutes, but obviously it's clear that which is the best entry? The cheaper entry is the best entry. In this case, there's no argue that 2750 is better than 27 and better than 28 and obviously better than the breakout over the highs. Yeah, so that's super simple. Now, how many will do the trade actually? How many will do the 2650 which is basically trading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 minutes into the trading day. The stock is up from 24.70 to 26.50. And can you trade at 26.50? And if you do it, will you take the risk on this trade? Anybody here traded SGMS September 14? It's not that long ago. It's like 2 weeks ago. It's, Armando, looking at the chart right now versus looking at the chart 4 minutes or 8 minutes into the trading day, it's a different story. Now you can trade it. Live, it's like chasing a rabbit. It's not very easy. I would have to say, dare and say it's super tough, unless, and this is really where preparation comes to mind, unless you already seen the move in the pre-market, prepared yourself to buy it, and then you're thinking, I don't think you're ever thinking 2650. Why not 2450 or 25 or 2550? Okay. So I would have said that if you're not preparing this type of a move or watching in the pre-market, no way you're catching this super fast rabbit in the first 30 minutes. Basically, it's not even 30 minutes. It's stopped moving higher at after 9:45. So 15 minutes, and the stock is up from 24 to 28, $4. This is how big the volume pickup was, and you understand why it moves so fast in a bit. Okay, but it starts up 45%, and then it moves up another 20%. Again, staggering moves, very fast moves. I will, like I said, I will dare say that nobody, unless you're really, really prepared for SGMS, and not a lot of people even traded the symbol ever, are ready. Now Christopher is telling us, I believe I shorted it. Why would you short a bullet to the upside? And where is the technical pattern to short? I don't see it. Maybe there will be a technical pattern in the coming in this trade later, but in the first minutes, that's problematic. Now remember, guys, we've seen many stocks where the move is very, very fast in the first minutes, and then the stock doesn't do much for the whole trading day. It happens. Okay, this can be one of those examples. We'll check on it in a minute. But as much as paper trading, 28 looks like a good short. I don't think right now it looks like maybe a good short. Okay, but imagine you trading it live. I don't think you can analyze and decide that 28 is a good short. Okay, on top of that, you have a huge risk. I'm not sure that the 28 is a good short. I will have to say that, of course, 26.50, 27 are good entry points. 28 is also, to a degree, a good entry point. Long. Again, when the trend is higher, I'm looking for long trades. I'm not looking to fix. I'm looking to complement the trade. Anyway, so 2650, let's call it 2650. Okay, guys, so now this is how we look at 11. By now, I'm already seeing the stock. Right now, I saw the stock and I saw this 28 entry. Okay, I saw this 28 entry as soon as it touched 28, and then I was thinking, okay, let's put an order to buy at 28. But then it pulls back and moves sideways for almost 45 minutes. Okay, now it's clear that the stock is not moving lower. It's actually building some support above the VWAP. Okay, it's building some support above the VWAP, and 28 is a probable entry in this case. And then you have 80 cents or 70, in this case, 77 cents to the highs of the day. Okay, so we analyze the price action until 11 as a day trader. Now we need to find a viable entry. Is the 28 reversal a potential entry long? Risking half a dollar to the VWAP. Is it too early for a trade? No pattern long has formed yet. The breakout trade will be the safest trade. And trading momentum stocks is the priority for a day trader. Let's go back to the chart before we go again and analyze the options here. So the stock is clearly testing 28, which is a round number. Then it pulls back 50 cents, and the VWAP is exactly 50 cents below. And now you have to ask yourself, do you buy the 28? Do you buy the 27.50? Or you wait because the stock is basically under the lows of the day, and maybe it will continue lower. Maybe it will continue lower. Okay, but I will have to say that at this point, there's nothing showing a continuation lower. Actually, the VWAP shows very good support, and the trade should be over 28. Now, what I'm telling you, what I'm doing in this case, okay? In this case, what I'm doing is entering at the VWAP with a tight stop loss and adding over 28. That's my strategy, to divide the risk between only one entry at 28 and only one entry at the VWAP, which is a risky entry because you haven't established a trend. Now the stock is moving sideways for almost an hour. So now I'm thinking, buy the VWAP, buy the 28, and I'm waiting. Okay? Most other traders will say, I'm buying the 28. I don't think there will be many traders that will say, I'm shorting the VWAP, stop over 28. Maybe that's also a solution, but the trend, let's face it, it's the stock is up 50%. In this case, I will pre-enter. Why am I pre-entering? Because there's so much, the stock is moving sideways for such a long period of time. Now I have, again, two options. To move away from it because I'm not going to watch it for, do this thing and spend my morning watching the stock. Okay, I cannot do it. It's either I'm posting a market order to buy, a stop market to buy at 28, or I'm pre-entering and trying to use the tightest stop loss, okay, if it's not moving higher anymore, okay? but or I'm moving away from it, and then all I can do is buy the 28. But it looks, the stock is trading so much volume versus average. The gap up is so big, the trend is so clear, other than the chop now, that you want to be in this trade long, and you're thinking it's now at 27.50. Highs of the day are 28.70. So this is your target. Maybe it breaks the highs of the day. So you can see a $1 plus trade in this stock versus a risk of 25-30 cents. Not it doesn't. The best thing to do actually is to see it trade above the round number. I don't prefer the VWAP. I rather see it trade at the 27. Let's say it trades at 27.20 and 27. So I can use the round number as support and enter just above the round number. So in terms of preferences, I rather see the round number and not the VWAP. But I will take whatever I have in this case. So those are the options. Do nothing, move away from the trade. Pre-enter, use these tails here, 20 cents below as stop loss. Or take only the 28, okay? Which you cannot do manually because this trade may move sideways for a long period of time and then move very, very fast to the upside. So you need to place an order to buy at 28. Okay, so those are the options. Still, shame for us for not entering in the first 15 minutes. Now you have to pay the price for not taking the $4 move, anything out of the $4 move from 24.70 to 28.70. That's a $4 move in 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And now you pay the consequences. So you will find a viable entry. And again, in this case, the breakout is, of course, the safest trade long, but the breakout is at 28.77. 28.77 is the breakout. It's a trade, but it's not really applicable. 28 is more applicable, okay? So if you have to analyze what's going on, find a viable entry, I will have to say in this case, A is the right answer. And you can expect also a 3-to-1, meaning if you risk 50 cents, you can easily get on a big mover like SGMS, $1, maybe more. So now again, Brian, the idea is to pre-enter only if you have a very low risk on the trade. Okay, so if you can pre-enter with a 20-cent stop loss, a 10-cent stop loss, no, depends on the stock, of course. If you can pre-enter in Tesla with a $1 stop loss, fine. Okay, but you don't not gonna pre-enter in Tesla with a $4 stop loss. Then you lose your edge. The idea with pre-entry trades is that they're not very accurate. Okay, and if you're gonna lose on them, you want to lose very small. On the other hand, those pre-entry can turn into big winners, okay? Because then others are joining at the highs of the day, and then the real move happens, or the real entry. In this case, 28. Okay, so guys, look what happens next. This is what happens next. I got really, really upset about this thing, but now the stock moves sideways from 10:30 to 12:30. And you can have, you know exactly where is the stop loss? 27.33 is the stop loss. 28 is the entry long. Okay, so you do the math here. Okay, if you enter at 28, you have a stop loss of 50 cents, maybe 70 cents. Okay, if you pre-enter, this is your stop loss whenever you pre-enter. And if you wait for things to happen or anything to happen, you're losing 2 hours. So you're focusing on the right stock for 2 hours, which are probably sometimes the best hours of the trading day. You cannot spend them so much time on SGMS. It's not Tesla or anything like that or ZM. Okay, it's not worth it. On the other hand, I'm looking at the ETF. I'm posting you. You can see the price actually in the ETF bends alongside the SGMS. Again, bends is a very low volume ETF. One of the reasons why I'm showing you this intraday price action in the ETF is that you don't use it. If it is a low volume ETF, just use the daily chart. Don't use the intraday chart. The intraday chart is not going to tell you much when it's trading 200,000 shares per day or 300,000 shares. Not to mention even less. If they trade less, I will scrap it altogether as as a benchmark. But this one trades 300 to 500,000 shares per day. I don't trust its intraday price action, but the daily is should be accurate. Keep in mind that it has only 3 US components. So if I'm looking at bands, I see nothing to support my trade, basically, because it's basically trading no volumes at all. So this is now at 12:30. If I'm already in the trade, I'm getting nothing for more than an hour and a half. Sorry. The only positive thing that I know is that wherever I enter, let's say 27.60, my stop loss is clear. 27.20, 27.33. That's my stop loss in the platform, 2 cents below. So what do you think now? Analyzing the price action until 12:30. Is long 28 a viable trade? Yes or no? Again, is this, take a look at this chart. Is 28 a viable trade? And the stock moves sideways now for almost 2 hours. What do you think? How many will, let's put this way, how many are going to buy SGMS at 28? Drew says 1. Okay. Brian says no. I say yes. I say yes. Christopher says no. So we are basically deadlock, 2 and 2. All right, we'll see what happens next. What happens next is not going to be pleasant. So yes, the risk on the trade is whatever, 67 cents. Yes, the trend is there's a clear uptrend, but this is not right. There is no clear uptrend. You can't call this move sideways for 2 hours a clear uptrend. There is no clear uptrend. Okay, now the trend is there's no trend. 2 hours out of the 3 hours that the stock is trading, it's spent sideways. There is no more uptrend. Okay, so point B, there's a clear uptrend. Is plain and simple, not true. Around breakout, around number break, and still a strong volume. Also, the strong volume. Where is the strong volume? Look at the volumes at 11:30 to 12:30. Okay, the bottom of the chart, and they are down 90% or 95% versus the morning session. So the volumes are now down 90%. The stock trends sideways for 2 hours, that's enough to tell you, get the hell out of Dodge. Assuming the benchmark support the trade. There's no real benchmark in this case. So no, the risk on the trade is equal to the expected reward. No, the stock is flat for 2 hours, lost the volume and the uptrend. And the trend overall is unclear. So I will go to ED, okay? I will go with E again because E explains, no, the stock is flat for 2 hours, true. Lost the volume, true. And the uptrend and the trend overall is now no longer clear. So E is right on the money, okay? Even if the stock moves higher eventually. Of course, yes is not, the yes answers are way off. Okay, let's continue because now we want to see what happens here. Great trade, but not in the right direction. Now the stock breaks 27.50 and trades lower more than $1. So in this case, those who posted the trade short made money. Now, can you post a trade short and a trade long in the same time? Can you be long, not in a position, but with a long order, and at the same time be short, or look for a short trade, or post a short trade, which is a viable strategy when you trade Forex. What about stocks? Can you do it with stocks? So if it's not moving over 28, I will short it under 27.50. Can you do it with stocks? Anybody? That's not true, Christopher. That would be very nice, I agree. Now it depends, let me give you the answer. It has nothing to do with the US market. It has to do with the broker, okay? On the new TFS platform, you can post a buy order at 28 and a short order at 27.50. That's with the new TFS platform. With the old TFS platform that I trade as well, you can only place one of our orders, long or short, okay? Now, if you go to different brokers, different solutions, okay? Most of the brokers won't allow it, but some brokers will allow it. With Colmex Pro, no. With Colmex Pro Evolution, yes. Or Colmex with a new platform. I don't know how it's the real name. It's Colmex Evolution or TFS Evolution. Depends if you trade them. Do you trade them a funded account, Brian? For funded accounts? Okay, so if you choose the new platform, you can do it. Okay, you can choose. You can choose. Again, I'm still staying with the old platform, being that this type of strategy comes along maybe once a month. Yeah, TFS is available in Canada. Both TFS platforms are available in Canada, the new and the old. Okay, I'm just making a point here because let's face it, how many times do we trade, we go long and short? But it's something that is available on the new platform. It's not available on our platform, the TFS platform that we trade, most of us will trade or are trading in the room. So in this case, you see that the VWAP breaks, and for me, being in this trade, I took a big loss on this trade. I think 30 cents or 40 cents. There was some slippage obviously, and blah, blah, blah. And then I was really, really upset. Yeah, for example, I know that on interactive brokers you can post long and short trades at the same time. Okay, and if you are long, the short trade will become a stop loss. Okay, so that's because they don't have short, they have buy and sell on the interactive brokers platform. That's exactly how the new platform of TFS works. Anyway, but this is once a month type of example of an example where you can use this 2 hour sideways move, and then it delivers a leg down. Also, you can do it in forex. This is basically a forex strategy where you trade a pair that's moving sideways and it's awaiting news. And if it's positive news, you want to be long. Negative news, short. And hope for that you're going to be getting a big one-sided move. And sometimes the move is very, very small in one position, and then it can reverse. So you can lose on the short trade and lose the same again on the long trade. So there is no strategy that it's only winning. If there was such a strategy, the markets would have been closed a long time ago. It's not. There isn't. So don't think about it. Don't even think about it. So in this case, obviously the trend lower is now clear. Okay, but the stock now has a 2650 as support, 27 as resistance, and we are approaching 2 p.m. But it's clear that the move higher in the morning was met by some aggressive sell-off in the land during the land session. So what are we doing now between 12 and 2 p.m.? Is it safe to say that SGMS broke the uptrend? Yes, it's clear. The trend is clearly lower. Yes, it is. The stock shows a strong downtrend, increased volumes that should be treated as a momentum trade short. Think about it, guys. Is this, despite what happened, a momentum trade short? The expectations are still for a close at the VWAP or higher. The trend higher is broken, however, the overall trend is higher. None of the above. What do you think? C is very, very confusing. Okay, the stock shows a strong downtrend, increased volume, and should be treated as a momentum trade short, while the stock is up 40%. Can you call it a momentum short trade and the stock is up 40%? And guys, I'm showing you the chart. Can you call this chart a momentum trade short? Clifton is posting, guys, his email. Again, if you need the recordings of this presentation, just email Clifton tomorrow morning. Anybody wants to answer this? Well, I won't call it complicated, but a bit tricky question. Again, is this chart picturing a momentum stock short? Despite being up, I don't know, 45 or 50%. Richard says no. Drew says no. Hedgie says no. Christopher says no. And I say no as well. You cannot call, despite the big leg down from the highs of the day, which is now more than 10%, you can't call it a momentum stock short while the stock is up 50% or 45, whatever. It's not. Anyway, it's a complicated chart, not really clear, whatever you want to call it. It's a weird chart. I agree, but the big move, so the 50% move in the first minutes, basically created a profit-taking opportunity, and there wasn't enough buying power to elevate the stock over 28, despite the amazing news. So the stock is selling off, but it's definitely not a momentum short trade. Okay, so I'm sure that the sellers here are not necessarily short traders. I think. I mean, let's face it. I don't know exactly. Nobody really knows, I think. So what is going on here? Is it safe to say that SGMS broke the uptrend? I think this is safe to say. The trend is clear lower. Yes, but this is definitely more accurate. SGMS broke the uptrend. Fine. The expectations are still for a close at the VWAP or higher. I don't think if you look at the chart, you can have any expectations. Right now, we don't know if this one actually closes at the lows of the day. Why would you expect the move over the VWAP or higher? So A is my preferred answer. Okay, guys, we're moving into the next segment. Take a look at this one. Now it's getting embarrassing. Okay, not only that the stock is not reversing higher, now it's basically really trading lower. Okay, from 2750 to 27 to 2650, now at 26. So now it's $1.50 trade to the downside in 2 hours, but still, the trend higher is totally unfolded. Analyzing the chart at 3 p.m., guys, what is the next plan for SGMS? Is there a plan at SGMS at 3 p.m.? For me, I remember watching it, I'm thinking, no way I'm buying it. But I'm afraid to short it. And that was a mistake, of course. But again, at 3 p.m., looking at this complicated chart, it looks like, I mean, the trend is clearly lower by now. Still, do I want to short it? I don't think I was looking for a short trade, but I was trying to look away from this chart. That was my policy at 3 p.m. Still, the 26 looks to be a support level. The trend is questionable. The trend is no longer questionable. I think the trend is definitely to the downside. It's still possible for algos to stage another leg up into the close. Yes, it's possible, but I have to say that I don't see it coming. As long as the VWAP is not compromised, staying short is the preferred option for SGMS. I will have to agree with this one. See, the stock is going through a momentum day. More upside won't be a surprise, but actually will be a surprise. So there are two options here that I find them interesting. Either move to another trade. You don't need to force a trade at at 3 p.m. Actually, you need not forcing any trade ever, especially not at 3 p.m. And as long as the VWAP is not compromised, staying short, if you are in a trade, I think will be the preferred option for SGMS. Anybody has another idea? I was looking at them as correct answer at C, but maybe there are other versions that can apply to this analysis of the chart at 3 p.m. or anywhere between 2 and 3 p.m. Obviously, yeah, Armando, have a great afternoon. We're going to be closing in about 25 minutes. If you need the 25 minutes that are remaining, you can, of course, email Clifton tomorrow morning and get the recordings. And see you tomorrow. Anyway, guys, Let's move on. We have one more chart. 4 p.m. Guess what? There was no hope, and the hope sometimes translates into volumes. Take a look at the volumes in the morning session, the excessive volume in the price action, and volume in the morning session, pretty much until 10 a.m. And what follows? So what follows is absolutely no more volume. And the stock closes, at 26.50, but way off the 28.77 of the highs of the day. So is it a swing trade if you are long? I think anybody that's long in this trade that bought over 27 is out of the trade. Anybody that bought over 28 is out of the trade. Who is still in the trade? The swing traders and the investors. Those who are investing in the stock are in. Those who are swing traders, I think this is very small portion, of, if any, or maybe unimportant portion of the trade, because why would anybody bother trading or swinging SGMS? It's not an important stock and did not show anything, big on the daily chart for swing traders to flock into it. There were no news ahead of the move. So all of that is a big surprise. Still, 26 is a good result for those that traded it at 19 or invested it the day before. So at 3:55, what is the next step for a day trader or a swing trader? Close the remaining positions. The stock didn't close at the highs. That for me is obvious. B, swing a quarter. The stock is looking strong into the close. That's BS. It's not strong. It may be a big winner overall with a gap, but it's not looking strong into the close. Swing is on the table for momentum stocks, but I can't call it a momentum stock, being that, again, it closed way off the highs of the day. SGMS didn't close at daily highs, therefore it doesn't deserve a swing trade. Clear. The 27 entry short is more than $5 in the money. Sorry, 50 cents in the money deserves a 1 quarter swing. The 27 entry short. Still, the daily trend is to the upside. So I don't think swinging a scalp trade is the right thing to do. The daily, both daily and intradays are still showing upside, and being short or staying short overnight is quite risky. Swing traders should swing the stock a long momentum day, which was stronger in months. Again, if you are in the trade from the previous day, you stay. You have no reason to be out. But A is the right thing to do. What is the next step for a day trader? Obviously, close the position and get the hell out. Of course, if you are short, it applies. If you are long and losing money, it applies as well. Now let's take a look at the previous day price action. Remember, this was September 14, guys. This is September 14, and the stock closes at 26. For everybody that traded in our trading room, I said, move SGMS to your watch list. I think I said it. If not, I should have been saying that. Move and watch it, because this amazing trading day is going to repeat itself, or something will happen. It's not like the stock is going to vanish one day after and we're not going to hear from it again. Okay? there's going to be some price action following the big 40% move. Now the question is, a momentum day must start and end as momentum stock. Yeah, of course. If you wanna swing a trade, okay, you want it to be able to take at least one or two partials on the way up, and you want to see either for a long trade a very very strong close, and for a short trade a very very weak close. Now here you have a problem where the stock is up 40%. It's not closing at the highs of the day. Can you be short a stock that's up 40% and looking for a swing trade? Which direction? It's not closing at the lows of the day, of course, for a swing trade. So it's very complicated and counterproductive to go counter the daily trend, okay? As a swing trader. As a swing trader, you're taking here a big risk. Maybe you made some 50 cents or $1 intraday, fine. But now the trading day is over and you are short a very, very strong stock that traded up 40% on news. So maybe it pulled back from 60%, 15%, and it's still up only 45%. Still 45% is, a very, very strong number. Okay, so obviously it's not closing at the lows of the day for a swing trader. It's not closing at the highs of the day for a swing trader long. So both swing trading, for both swing trading purposes, this is not really interesting right now. Now the question is, what will happen next? Is this a sell-off opportunity or a buying opportunity? This 26 to 28, how much is it? It's a 10% move. 10% from 28.70 to 26, $2.6, exactly 10%. Okay, well, let's see what happens next. This is September 15. So the stock opens at 27.12. Remember, it closed at 26, okay, September 14, and it opens at 27.12, September 14. Opens at 27.12. And now it's moving up back to the 28, back to the 28.50, to the 29, and as high as 30 in the first hour and a half of trading. So now it's clear, and for me it was really, really disappointing to see it because I don't remember if I had it on my watch list, but I said to myself, there will be continuation. I didn't know, of course, the direction, but it will pay to follow the stock on the day after. And in this case, where was a good entry? There were so many, 27, 27.50, 28, 29, 28.50. Nothing is really a perfect pattern, but those are the opportunities. And with a $28 stock, you go through round numbers, basically. So if you look at this chart, even the 30 breakout which took 4 hours, basically the stock trades from 11 basically until 3 p.m. under the 30, and then breaks higher and closes. So this is again a stock that's driven by momentum in the morning session. And then the investors slash algos are put to sleep, and nothing happens for hours for the second day in a row, might I say. And I didn't trade it, so I lost money on the first day, missed the trade in the second day, and that was pretty much it. So where is a good entry? Any round number or half round number is basically now a good entry. And if you look at the VWAP, guys, look at the price action versus the VWAP. Now you can see that any pullback to the VWAP is basically a good entry. until 10:30 in the morning. So basically, the stock makes some amends for the leg down from 28.77 to 26, and pulls through 28.77 to as high as 30.50 on the day after. So basically, it settles the score. Anybody that was short made a huge mistake. The summary, guys: SGMS is now a preferred trade. I won't call it a preferred trade, but as long as it is now interesting and people are watching it alongside PEN and DKNG, maybe there will be more upside. You're looking for an ETF that is also a benchmark. You have bets. That's pretty much the only ETF that I could see and find that has any relationship or good relationship with SGMS. You cannot take the small cap index, which is IWM 2,000 shares, and try to understand any of its components' behavior. But you can look at here at either bets or the other stocks in the sector, PNN and DKNG. We'll take a look in a couple of seconds, real time, what happened today with PEN, DKNG, and BETS. Now take a look at this. This is actually the reason why the stock is only moving on momentum. Okay? There's no volume. Basically, the stock trades 3.3 million shares the last 3 days, but on average, it trades less than 2 millions. And the float is only 47 million shares. Institutions are holding 60%, insiders are holding 40%. That's weird. Normally, insiders are holding less than 2 or 3% for a NASDAQ 100 stock. This one is not a NASDAQ 100, and you can see the holding. Short float, relatively, let's call it above average. Okay, guys, let's look again back and understand the daily. September 11, that's a Friday. The stock trades under 20. On Monday, it gaps up and shows this hammer on the daily chart. But again, this is a hammer accompanied by the best volume in the stock probably ever. And we'll see the continuation. And the news. And again, the following day, the stock gaps up and closes at the highs of just above 30.50, even on better volume. So the first day, surprise. The second day, the buyers are really taking off with the stock and this type of amazing news. Now on the way up, and this is how it looks on the daily chart. So if you look at the daily chart until Friday, which was 2 days ago, on the way up, Jeffries upgrades the stock following the changes in leadership. So now some analysts are picking up on the changes in leadership in the stock and thinking, wow, this is super positive. Boom, the stock creates another highs. So now it's it's a legit stock, a huge winner, trading at 20 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and 35 Friday. So the stock is up nearly 70% or 80%, 75% in 2 weeks. Amazing, amazing. And all of that, still, all you needed to do is focus not on the first day. First day was impossible to continue, but focusing on the second day. Guys, look at the volume on the first day, look at the volume on the second day. The volume on the second day is actually twice as big and the volume on the first day. So basically that should have been the money trade and not the signal, this hammer on the daily chart. Too bad. Okay, now let's see again, before I'm gonna close, I wanted to open actually the next case, but we're not gonna do it today. We're gonna start fresh tomorrow, but I do wanna check the relationship between bets, SGMS, PEN, and DKNG today, guys. Let's take a look, just to make sure that what we are doing here is right. Okay, so let's take a look at bets. This is SGMS today. Okay. Down 5% from all-time highs, from the highs of the year, okay? And remember, this was the news day, then the pickup in volume day. Basically, the money trade is here in this trading day, okay? Anywhere between 27 and 30 was pretty much the entry to still be in this trade. Okay, and then Jeffrey's upgrading. Now it's selling off, but it is at the highs of the year. That's SGMS. Now let's take a look at bets. That's the ETF. Is the ETF at the highs of the year? Yes. Is it a good volume ETF? Not really, but if you look at the intraday chart, you don't see much. If you look at the trend on the daily, and yes, it is that it's also selling off a bit today. Let's take a look at PEN. Well, not exactly at the highs of the year, but still, again, red today, 4.8%, pretty much the same price action as SGMS, pretty much the same. The last one, DKNG, down 2.2%, exactly the same pattern. DKNG and SGMS have the same pattern, guys. Let me post SGMS below. Take a look. Take a look over the last month. SGMS with a gap up and the sell-off from the highs of the year, and DKNG. Nearly identical twins. Okay, I'm not saying they are identical twins, but as long as there will be interest in the sector, you can trust that a leg up in DKNG will be met by a leg up in SGMS, maybe a leg up in PEN, maybe a leg up in the benchmark. Basically, it's good to see that now we can have a subsector that basically wasn't existing for us as day traders until maybe 2 weeks ago, is now a valid trade. DKNG, SGMS, and PNN, and as long as the sector will be hot, which will maybe take a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months to cool off, we can still follow up and try to find trades in this. Otherwise, forsaken for years type of sector. Tomorrow, guys, we need to go to 2 cases at least. So be prepared for faster and more aggressive action here in the room. We have, let me see what we have tomorrow. An analysis of a swing trade, a full analysis of a swing trade in an interesting stock, another one that we trade almost every day, and another basic case. So we have hopefully two interesting cases for you tomorrow as well. Guys, if anybody has a question for me at this point, that's the time. If not, we're done for the day. It's now, what's the time now? 6? Yeah, 6:40 on my watch. So we are 10 minutes ahead of schedule. Again, we pick up tomorrow with two more cases. If anybody again has a question for me, that's the time. Clifton has the link for you to request recordings if you so need them. How do I take the time? You take the time. It's not, let's face it, this is something that we do every day. I mean, it's not like something that it's coming out of nowhere. We trade those stocks, we live around those stocks every day. Maybe I don't trade SGMS every day or DKNG every day, but it's not something that it's coming out of, out of the blue or out of the sky. Yeah, well, we like to talk. Everybody that's in this trading room, if you're not in the trading room to talk, why are you here? Okay, everybody wants to talk. It's like being an analyst in NFL game. I mean, if the analyst there is like the player game sometimes is not the best talker. The analysis, the analyst can talk 3 hours. So I can talk 3 hours, although it's not an NFL game. Okay, guys, thanks for being here. And we'll be seeing you guys tomorrow at 4:05. Again, if anybody has a question for me, you can use my email as well. Have a good night, everybody, and see you tomorrow.